evening, Zambia. Good evening, Moichado. Shani, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us this evening on Praise the Chat with Pilato. Happy to be here, to be hosting, or to be speaking to or chatting with the Radical Farmer. The Radical Farmer is a young entrepreneur, farmer, computer scientist who I'll be chatting with, and obviously to learn more about organic farming and why it is better for the environment, that is if it is better, and why young people should get into agriculture. And so we will be hearing more of that. So, Radical Farmer, tell us about yourself. Obviously, you can say hello to our viewers and introduce yourself more, so then we can also get to know more about. They can also get to know more about you as a young person in agriculture.
Okay, so as Pilato has indicated, my full name is Abel Hangoma. So by profession, I'm a computer engineer, but I grew up from a background of a farming background. So doing computers and farming, it is something that I've been doing for quite some time. But the love for organic farming is something that has dominated in me because I had always had the desire of eating healthy food. So since I didn't know where to buy it, I wouldn't say that I didn't know, but there was nowhere to buy that healthy food. So I decided if I'm not part of the solution, then I'm part of the problem. So I stepped out and started practicing organic farming from the backyard so that I can grow my own food. Then I'll have a reason even to help others that would love to eat healthy food, because I should know how to grow it in the simplest way and in a way that is affordable and accessible, and that actually can be done by anyone. So when you talk about the Radical Farmer, this is a farmer that started from the backyard, and right now I own 34 hectares. Now imagine coming from a backyard that was like a 5x5 piece of land, then to owning 34 hectares. In Zambia, actually, I believe this is something that is possible. And being a youth, I actually decided to retire from practicing working in formal employment, where I was working as an IT personnel, to move into a very set up a farm that is actually at the moment the best organic farm in Zambia. We received 2 awards last year because of our competence, and we're very innovative in our approach to organic farming. And our slogan says, we make organic farming super easy, and we enable you to taste the real taste of the food that is grown from the soil.
So what is organic farming? What is organic farming? For somebody that is hearing of this term for the first time, what is organic farming?
Okay, in the simplest term, organic farming is growing food using natural means that are environmental friendly, means that are support the ecosystem, means that actually are in line with biodiversity, without not growing food while it's destroying other things. So in organic farming, real organic farming, you use nature to grow your food. It can be on small scale, it can be on large scale, it is all possible.
Thank you very much. Our discussion is organic farming in relation to environmental friendliness. What happens when we do not practice this organic farming? We do conventional farming where we use chemicals. What do you think we are doing to the environment when we farm conventionally like everybody else?
Okay, so when we talk about doing conventional farming, it's like actually you are in a boat, then you're floating on water, then you start hammering the boat that you are in. Immediately it is going to start leaking, and you're going to drown with the boat. There's no way of survival, because when you're on water and in the water, many people have died on water, and maybe the river is quite very big. It's like I would picture it like the earth is like a boat that is floating on water. So the way we care for it will determine how long we are going to be on this planet or how short we're going to live on this planet. It's a two-way thing. It is either we can live while less struggling, or we can actually, the very earth can actually bring about disasters. I would say many of the disasters that we face on this planet, I wouldn't call them natural disasters. I would say man-made disasters, because this is a reaction from nature, because nature is not happy with the way we are treating it. The earth is not happy with the way we are treating it. So it's speaking to us that actually you are not supposed to do this this way. Like, I'll give an example of when you talk about the issues of the heat waves that we're experiencing, the melting of the ice, there's always a connection to the way we are caring for the environment. So organic farming is like a solution to this problem. Like, if we continue doing what we're doing, and I'm sure I'll be sharing the link between all these catastrophes that we are facing with the way we are doing agriculture, especially because we're not doing it in a sustainable way, which is actually very destructive, not only to the environment, but also to other creatures that exist to support life. When you understand the ecosystem very well, this actually has got a connection with the disasters that we are facing, the environment, and also the peace that we have as the world. Right now, we're talking about all these storms that are coming. These are not coming by accident. These are coming because there's the certain way we have altered nature, and nature is backfiring. And it doesn't happen in a overnight. It's a gradual thing which actually builds up, then it heals in abundance, in line with the catastrophes. Now, and I think we have to really understand to do agriculture in a way it is supposed to be done, so that it doesn't endanger the environment, so that it reacts and backfires on us.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. What do you think makes okay, so I'll tell you my experience. What I've experienced with organic food is that it's damn expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's super expensive. What makes you think that somebody wants to would prefer, a poor person would prefer spending so much money to buy an apple when they can use the same amount of money to buy apples?
Okay. So the question that you've asked is a very important question. What makes organic farming super expensive? So the reason is very simple. Number one is the issue of the license. What is that? The certification. So you'd find that the cost of certifying your farm as organic is quite very high. Like in Zambia, there is no organic certifying board. You have to get the certifiers from South Africa, which is very, very expensive. And secondary, which is actually more practical. Organic farming should be the cheapest food on the market because it is the easiest to grow. You see, you are working with nature to grow your food. The reason why it is expensive is because people use wrong methods to grow organic food. Like, for example, in our case, what has really helped us to stand out is because of the innovation. So you find that the difference between the common organic farming and the organic farming that you are practicing is that many organic farmers are depending on, they buy inputs from other people that are actually making those inputs. Like, let's say, for example, there's just a change. The only thing that has changed is the name. So instead of buying inorganic chemicals, they buy organic chemicals. Instead of buying inorganic fertilizer, they buy organic fertilizers. But like in our case, what we've done is we've come up with innovation. We have been able to make organic fertilizer from plants. We've been able to make organic pesticides from plants. Then the seeds that we plant, they are generational seeds. These are original seeds that you only buy once and you'll be planting forever until when. Then when you talk about the fertilizers, you plant them once, then you're going to be you're growing fertilizer. So the cost of buying fertilizer is removed. The cost of buying pesticides is removed. The cost of buying seeds is also removed. So you find that the cost of production comes very, very low. But you find that if many farmers, they are growing they are dependent. There is that dependence syndrome whereby you buy everything. It is organic, but you keep on buying. But our approach to organic farming is that we don't sell the fertilizer to the plants, to the farmers. What we do is we sell them plants which they are going to be using to make their own fertilizers. So even if when they are producing a product, you find that because they have an inside industry that makes fertilizer and an inside industry that makes pesticides, that money doesn't go out, it stays within the economy of that farm. So you as a farmer, you get to the level whereby you control the economy of your farm, and you know your prices are not going to be regulated by the cost of the inputs. So you reach a level whereby you actually come and you are nearly 100% in control of your farm in terms of the economy of the farm and also the inputs.
One would argue that with increased population, the demand for food has risen. And listening to you, one would think that organic farming might not respond to the demand for food or the rising demand for food. I'll give you an example. The introduction of genetically modified foods was to address the demand for food security. So meaning that the process of producing food is quickened. For example, these organic chickens will take about 6 months to grow and be ready for consumption. But the inorganic chickens will take about 4 weeks. And people are eating. That is for the convenience of our survival. What would you say to one that believes that organic farming is not responding, is not a solution to food insecurity or to the rising demand for food?
Okay, so you know when you're dealing with a problem, you should always look at it from the root cause point of view. So you are dealing with a problem from cause to effect. You're not dealing with symptoms. So when you look at the issue of, let's say, for example, it always comes back to nutrition. So why there's a demand for more chicken, there's demand for more fish, which should grow fast so that people can eat, is the issue of protein. So in organic farming, there is what we call biodiversity, whereby you grow different crops, which actually contain different types of nutrients, which can supply the needs of every human being. And actually, there are crops that grow extremely very fast in order to supply those. So there's the issue of biodiversity. So organic farming can solve that through the issue of biodiversity. Then maybe before I forget this point, the other thing we should also be looking at we are not just looking at convenience, we are also looking at the quality of life that people actually are getting from the food that you eat. So sometimes the way I look at things, you see, if we are going to build a nation in any way, be it spiritually, be it economically, be it financially, in any way, you need people that are healthy, people that are sound, people that are going to drive the economy. Let's say, for example, Mr. Pilato, if you were going to get sick, do you know how many people are going to suffer? So meaning we should grow
That's
food.
a good example.
So I'll give an example. So if we give you food which is healthy, food which supplies all the needed nutrients for you to have a sound mind, for you to be healthy, to be active, you'd find that actually the country is going to go forward. So that's one angle we are looking at. We're not just looking at the convenience, we're also looking at the quality of life that people are going to be living. I know of certain countries whereby, because of the healthy food which they eat, they tend to live longer. So when they live longer, they're going to be more productive for a longer period of time. So like we need you so that you can continue creating these platforms. And that is one line that organic farming is trying to achieve. We are looking at producing healthy citizens that actually have got sound mind, because your brain depends on the food that you eat. So the quality of food also matters. So like if you were to go, you are going to do a research on if you know Dr. Paham, he's one of the oncologists or the cancer doctor at UTH. So I've had quite a number of conversations with him, and he has explained quite a lot on the link between the food that we eat and our healthiness. So organic farming is not just about growing food, but it's also focusing on the healthy of the people. You see, so there is always a way out. I believe like the conversion of food just came recently, and we should also know, like mostly the people that get into this kind of business, they are trying to make more money quicker. But we should also be looking at the thing: is the thing that we are doing really solving a problem, or it is creating another problem? Because it's very possible to create a problem on top of a problem, but we are looking at a solution that is really sustainable, a solution that is bringing about real development to the nation and also benefiting the people. Like I'll give an example. I personally, with my my God-given conscience, I cannot sell something that I know is not healthy for myself. I can only sell something that I know is good for me and is good for the people. When I sell you something, when I supply you with food, I'm 100% convinced that even if Jesus, even if God was going to visit the country, the world, he could be very happy because he knows what we don't know, that, okay, this food is actually 100% safe for human consumption.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. One would still argue with you that if we are producing children, if the population is rising at a faster rate as it is, then we should be able to produce food at that same pace. And the argument there is that whilst you stick to the organic approach, there could be more people and not enough food to cater for the number of the people that are alive. How do you respond to that thought?
I think, you see, the way we've been dealing with that is through innovation. So, like to be honest, there is need of decentralization. There's a lot of, if you would go to Soweto market, you'd find that there's a lot of food that goes to waste. When you go to the villages, you find that there's a lot of food that goes to waste. So that is number one. There's need of decentralization. So there's a lot of food that is grown, and actually, because there is no proper market connection, it goes to waste. Then secondary, it is the issue of responsibility. I believe that when I have children, I should be responsible of my family to actually see how best I can give them the best food. So I have to be, as the head of the house, I have to be responsible to take care of my family. Then secondary, there's something interesting that we are talking about, that you don't want to stand for people, but you'd want to help them. Like, I don't know, like there's a way you put it, whereby you don't want to take up the responsibility of people, but you'd want to help them actually get what they want. So what I'm trying to say is, if everyone gets responsible to grow at least even a small portion of healthy food, you'd find that we'll be able to actually feed our families with health food. Then on the other side, it is something that can be done, because you see, to be honest, there is absolutely no difference in terms of growth rate of organic food and inorganic food when you follow in terms of different types of crops, vegetables and all those things. There are things that can be done organically to actually hasten the growth of food. So in most cases, the people that actually talk about organic farming, they have not tried it out. So I'm speaking from experience. There are tricks, there are techniques that can be implemented to grow certain food faster and steadily with stabilized, stabilized nutritional content. Because the faster something grows, there are certain key elements that are not built to maturity, you see. So like in place of, in terms of chickens, broiler chickens, to be very frank, you find that a broiler chicken, we know very well that it's not very healthy. Though it tastes well, but it has got its own implications, because the methods that are used to grow it, most of them, they are not actually very, very healthy for human beings. They are also contributing to different lifestyle diseases. But what I'm looking at also, as much as we talk about conversion, it's a transition. We don't have to just jump and change, but we have to be transiting to a more sustainable way, a more healthy way of doing things. things of which I know is very, very possible. Even like let's say, for example, even the chickens, you say they take 6 months and all that. If we could have many people practicing organic farming on large scale, and then on top of that, they're using the right methods, you find that actually chickens can grow even in 4 months, 6 months, they are ready for sale. But the supply also would be very steady because we've got so many people that are involved in this issue of organic farming. So it's something which everyone should participate. It is something that everyone who wants healthy food should participate. It's not everyone who wants healthy food. Some people they don't even care. But those who care, you find that they are going to be responsible of trying their level best to solve the problem of supplying healthy food.
You are young. Why are you a farmer? Your friends are dancing at Chicago's. Your friends are moving with alcohol every weekend. What made you think? What pushed you into farming?
I think it's the ability to have eyes that can see. You don't even, someone said you need 4 eyes that can see, but I think you just need even just 2 working eyes. So if you can see, like you see these 2 eyes, you should have the ability to see. You see, you should see how things are. I'll give an example. In IT, when like even my wife said, no, my husband is a computer engineer. It sounds good, but the reality of things, when you look, like I love to look at life 3-4 years ahead, and I could see that what I was doing, like I used to develop applications of which they were not making sense to the majority Zambian. Then I looked at what is happening on the market and where can I actually fit in to solve a real problem, and I discovered that agriculture was a platform that I can operate in and to be very, very useful. So I was looking for a place where I could be useful and looking at the trends and what is happening in Zambia. You know, it is an insult to every youth who is in Zambia to actually be eating apples from South Africa, to be eating grapes from South Africa, when there's a lot of land that we can actually utilize to provide this food. And actually, when you talk about agriculture, it's not just about digging and doing all those things. We're talking about innovation. We don't have a Zambian graduate from UNZA that I know that actually is able to make a herbicide, or that is actually able to make a pesticide or even just fertilizer. All these things are coming outside the country. So you can come in as a student in agriculture and come and fill in those gaps. You see, when you talk about the machinery that is used in agriculture, they're not made by the Zambians. Like me, I've done quite a lot of innovations. I've made a machine that makes essential oil. I've made a fertigation. I've made a hydraulic pump that works with pressure and gravity. So I've built quite a lot, and I'm helping quite a lot of farmers. If we can have youths come and start solving problems, start making processing machines for making juices, making tomato sauce, making tomato paste, all those things that are being wasted there. And right now I'm contemplating, I want to make a solar dryer. I want to expand this essential oil making machine. I've been able to make what is this, essential oils, alcohol-free hand sanitizer, and also different types of products. Now, this is where we should fit in. I'll give an example, like in the maize industry. The people that are making feed, most of them, they're not Zambians. Why don't Zambians come on board and start making feed for chickens? You see, why don't Zambians come up with a formula that can be utilized to make antibiotics? Like, for example, one of the plants that actually can be used to make antibiotics for chickens is oregano, and we have it here. There's neem, which can be used for wounds. A lot of things have not been, potentials have been untapped in farming. And you find that a foreigner comes all the way from China, from America. They come and see what we are not able to see. So we have to open up our eyes. These eyes should be able to see, and we should be able to extract our thoughts into action and implement them with a few resources that are within our reach. The problem is that we want people to come and invest in our ideas before we even try them out ourselves. We have to try them out and implement them. So there's a lot that I can say, but I think for now I'll end here. But there's a lot that we are not able to see as youths. And if we continue seeing things like that, we are going to be wallowing in poverty. Like me, I've been in full-time, I've been in full-time agriculture. So because I've been innovative, I've been positive, I don't care about what people say because that's not their life. That is my life. Recently, I was listening to, who is this one? Dandy Crazy. He was being interviewed about his accent, the R and error syndrome. He says, Liashidi Obe. So if you are thinking that that agriculture is a bad thing, you are actually, I can tell you are very much outdated. Agriculture is the coolest thing at the moment. And we need more innovators to come and innovate solutions, because the reason why agriculture has not changed is because we don't have the young minds that can think fresh, that can think and come up with new ideas to improve agriculture. So as youths, we are counting on you. We have to come on board and make a difference, make a difference, make a real difference. You talk about money, like I've got other problems, but not money. Money is not one of my problems. So yeah, to be honest, I've got other problems, but not money. Money is not a problem. Like,
I remember last time we were together, you were showing me off deposit text messages into your account. My 100 pin, my 200 pin.
Yeah.
Abel, one will tell you, one will tell you that agriculture in Zambia is damn expensive. It's for people with money. What would you say to a young person that who says, I would like to get into agriculture, but I don't have land. I don't have enough money to start to venture into agriculture. What would you say would be your word of encouragement to such a young person?
Okay, so it's very fun. So the thing is, when you look at this issue of that we don't have land, the problem is that we are very good at starting with what we don't have. You start with what you have. I started agriculture from the backyard on the piece of land that wasn't mine. So, immediately you believe that you can do something with what you have, not what you don't have, because you can't use what you don't have. So start where you are with what you have, then move from there. So like, I'll be very honest with you, I had a small planchard garden and I only had maybe 5 plants of lettuce, a few strawberries, about 5 plants of tomato, then with a bed of garlic. So now when I started talking about agriculture on Facebook, I would capture one lettuce plant, then portray it as if it is a very big field. I would capture one strawberry plant and people would think that this guy has got a big field. Now that's how I was building. I started with what I had and knew how to work with what I had. So if you don't have a piece of land, you can actually start from your backyard. You can start in flower pots. You can start in sacks. You can start in, you can buy small potting bags. There are plants that need shallow roots. You can just start with what you have, where you are, with a little capital that you have. People say they don't have money, but they have money to bank to buy an expensive phone. They have money to bank to celebrate their Christmas, to take their girlfriends out and do all those funny things. We should come to the point whereby we know where we are. When you know where you are, you know where you come from, you should also be able to know where you're going. The problem is that we don't know our real status. We want to portray a fake status, which is actually not taking us anywhere. And very soon reality is going to catch up with us and we are going to be suffering. So what am I trying to say is, with the little that you have, maybe some of us, we have got relatives, we've got families. What is that? Who is this one? There's a guy who sang about Mwankore. We don't know where we come from. You get back to your roots. There's always land there. Get started. It may be in a season you go and plant sunhemp, you plant sunflower, you plant millet, whatsoever you can plant in that season. The problem is that you're old enough. I think it's not wise to be in your mother's place, in your father's place. You are old enough and you're sleeping on the sitting room, even in the bedroom. But we have to be responsible. We can get back to our grandfathers. Our parents have got land. Let us start there. One thing that I know is that everyone has got where they belong. If you don't have maybe relatives and orphan, talk to your church members, talk to your friends. There is someone who has got land that is idle and you can get started there. And you don't have to start by hiring people. You, the first, the one who is doing the projects, you should be the first employer. Like when I started farming, I was the only person that was working. Even my wife wasn't even working with me, but she later joined me. So you should be willing to get started with what you have, where you are, with what you are going to be the first employer. Then it starts there, and you build it up from there.
Tell us about your farm. I think there is a lot of innovations. You've talked about innovation. There's a lot happening at your farm. I remember you talked about essential oils. You talked about machinery. You talked about hand sanitizer, non-alcoholic based hand sanitizer, and all of those things. You are a farmer. What are you farming? How are you farming?
Okay, so the problem is that I don't love easy things. So I love hard things, and I enjoy challenges. So if you see even the name radical farmer says doing things the unusual way, an extraordinary way. So when I'm venturing into something, I first calculate what is on the market. When something is hot on the market, I wouldn't go for that. Like for example, right now everyone is crying soybeans. Very soon there's going to be flooding on the market. I go for things people believe they can't be done. Like I took the journey to start growing grapes because people said you can't grow grapes in Zambia. I said, okay, I'm going to grow them. If need be, if there is need of importing the climate, we are going to import the climate. What we have to do is to grow grapes. So, and you see, as I've been practicing it, I've come to realize that there are many things that we fear from a distance. And you don't have the right to tell me that this doesn't work if you haven't tried it yourself. As in for me, I need my version of failure. I have to try it out. I fail myself. And if that is the case, then it works. So we grow grapes and herbs, and we grow them organically, and other different types of fruit trees. But mostly are focused on grapes and also herbs. So why I grow grapes is because the majority of Zambian doesn't believe that you can grow grapes, but right now people believe now that we've grown grapes. And what I believe, I also love to be a leader. I want to take up something that people believe can't be taken up. Then I lead others to believe that actually this is very possible. And many people have believed that actually you can grow grapes in Zambia. Then secondly, with the herbs, we've realized that actually we've got a lot of pharmaceutical students that are doing nothing. They go to school, learn about pharmacy, they learn about the plants that we are growing, but they've never seen not even a single plant. So we grow medicinal plants, and I'm able to see when I look into the future, many people are getting back to nature. They would want to use herbs for their medicinal properties. And as I've been working with them, I've come actually to learn. When you come to the farm, you're going to you actually have a very different experience. You come to know how powerful herbs are in terms of healing us and also helping us to be very, very healthy. We can actually even use them for landscaping. So from those herbs, we are able to make quite different products. We're able to make essential oil. We are able to make raw materials for making soap, lotion, perfumes. We are able to make compost. We are able to make even pesticides.
All of that? Are you doing all of that at your farm? Are you making perfumes?
Yeah, I've been able, and actually I already ordered some bottles for perfume. Maybe you may be one of the first people to get that perfume, which is actually organic.
I need some perfume. Man.
Yeah. So immediately the bottles are live, and we package that. I'll actually send you. You tell me. You come and see. Then we are also able to make organic fertilizer. So we grow plants that we use to make organic fertilizer right here, and we also share that information with others. If you check on my YouTube channel, Radical Farmer, and even on my page, Radical Farmer, you find I actually share quite a lot of content in terms of making organic fertilizers, making organic pesticides. So like Organic Farm 7 is like a school. It's like a research center which is actually exploring opportunities in farming and showing farmers how to do farming in a more sustainable way, in a more profitable way, and in a way actually that you are going to benefit as a farmer, rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it.
I want to know. You sound to be doing a lot of. Have you been in touch with the Ministry of Agriculture?
Not yet.
Any support, any collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture?
No.
Have you reached out to them?
Not yet. I haven't yet reached out, but at least there's a time that they came through and they said no, we'll get back to you, but they haven't yet gotten back to us. So now I don't know. Like you see, on the other side, I don't know. Maybe I've got a problem. I need help. So what I normally do is I try my level best to use what I have to get to the level that I want. Then if I always work on building evidence. So if someone comes to help, they should be able to find the evidence on the ground. So I exhaust my resources. Then I've had a problem chasing for help, and because sometimes you find in the process of chasing for help there are conditions which actually tend to divert you from what you're really doing at the moment. So, but there are people that actually come on board when they have come to understand. So if someone really understands what you're doing, it is easier for them to come and help you than explaining to someone, because you find that even the process of explaining, you can actually get to another level if you do something that actually can help. I don't know if that makes sense. So
it does make sense. I think it does make sense.
So that has been my approach. I'm working on attracting rather than chasing. So that is one thing that I've really seen works out best for me. I've got a problem explaining what I clearly understand to someone who doesn't understand. Maybe I tried once someone trying to explain something, but I don't seem to get. But we've been very, very progressive.
Very inspirational, very thought-provoking. I would like us, first of all, I don't think we've gotten any questions, but we've gotten comments. Okay. So I'd like to read a few comments, then I would be happy to continue the chat. So this one is coming from Kaluisha Mulambia. Kaluisia Mulambia says, we are in a sorry state, but hey, there is hope. Slowly and steadily, we are a people that are awakening to reality. A luta continua. The economic struggle continues, glued to the program and learning lots. Fit networks watching learning from K Square, which is Kaunda Square. Let me see if I can. This one is from Hantembo. Sinaswa is happy and laughing that I've got other problems, but not mine. You wanna chill with the big boys? So from the comments, there are so many of them. Obviously, I'll rush to get a question. There seems to be a lot of cheering and appreciating the idea that farming is the in thing. What would you say to young people that are struggling to imagine themselves getting into farming because they want to be paid for a white-collar job? Because that's where I think we have a lot of problems when we're talking about people complaining about jobs. We're talking about people complaining about conditions of work. We're talking about poor pay. How do you convince young people that farming is a new normal? Farming is a secret to our economic liberation as young people, but also as a country.
Okay. So there's a quote that I love so much. It says, agriculture is the foundation of every stable economy. So, and I would want to emphasize one thing. You see, when you have a problem, that is your problem. So the best person that understands that problem is you. And the best person who can solve that problem is you. And the person that feels that problem is you. So there are things that people can help us with, but there are certain things that people never help us with. I'll give an example. You may have a problem with unemployment, but that may not be the problem to the government. That may not be to the that may not be a problem to the people that are actually creating employment. So, like as an employer, me, I'm an employer. I'm not looking for employment. I'm an employer. So the problem that I have may not be your problem. Like, for example, my problem right now is it is very hard for me to find the right people to work with. So sometimes I don't think employment in Zambia is a problem. The biggest problem that I find is actually finding the right people to work with. You see? So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is someone who is not productive when there's nothing, you know, I even find it offensive. There are people who say there's nothing to do, but their own yard is not tied up. Their own yard is very disorganized. Even their very bedroom is not well organized. So what am I trying to say? There's always something to do. Wherever there's a problem, you have to offer a solution. The thing, you know, these brains, we have to use them very well. We have to use our eyes. Yeah. You look at, like any country, there is no country in the whole world that I think has got more opportunities than Zambia. So when you see a country that has got so many problems, just know that that country needs a lot of solutions. And there are two things. It's either you are a problem yourself or you're a solution. There are no two ways about it. It's either you are part of the problem or you are part of the solution. And you choose. That doesn't happen by accident. You have to choose what you're going to be, what role you're going to be playing. And there is no one. If you could see where I come from, check on my page, Radical Farmer. If you could see where I come from, most of you don't even have an excuse to be where you are. You can actually do far much better. What am I trying to say is the way we look at agriculture is not the way it is. It's just that you've never been there. Like right now, I'm at the farm. I've got an office. Right now, I'm in my own office. I've got Wi-Fi. You see, 4G. Actually, I've got faster internet than most of you. This is 4G that I'm using. And no one pays it. The farm pays it. And I've got a vehicle, D-Max Isuzu, which actually, and I've got a motorbike. I've built a house which is worth more than 300,000. That has all come from the farm. The problem is that we think we see, but we don't. Immediately you start defending yourself, just know that you are in the wrong. You are in the wrong run. The thing that you should get to is you should look at your problem, then think, how can you solve that problem which is yours? Your problem is not my problem. I don't know what you're going through. Like maybe I would say, like right now, my problem is mosquitoes. They're biting me. So that's my problem. You don't know how it feels to be bitten by a mosquito. So that is my problem. So but that is not what you're facing. So what am I trying to say is agriculture offers a lot of opportunities. Look at how the foreigners are making money from agriculture. You talk about, do you know any Zambian that is growing wheat in Zambia? And do you know how much Zambians consume bread on a daily basis? You see, you talk about drinks. There are so many, just that right now I'm impressed at least there are so many, there's quite a number of drinks that are made by Zambians. You talk about biscuits. Do you know a Zambian that makes high quality biscuit that even costs 70 kwacha? That is purely made from oats and wheat. So we can grow certain things to target a certain market. I don't believe a Chinese can come all the way from China to come and beat me in my homeland. That is unacceptable. So if there is someone who's going to come and practice organic farming in Zambia, this is my home ground. I have to know my craft. I have to know my place. I have to be on top of the game because this is my home ground. I have to do my very best. There's no way, absolutely no way a foreigner can come and do better than a Zambian in farming. It means that there's something that we are not doing right as Zambians. And you are as a youth, if you can see that and you're doing nothing about it, then you are a problem. So we have to step out, start small, and have maybe even a 20 years plan. Say, no, in the next 20 years, I am going to be the biggest wheat farmer in Zambia. I'm going to be the biggest soybeans farmer in Zambia. The problem is that we want to do business which is so quick, like the way we grow broiler chickens. You want to be the richest person in the next 4 weeks, like the way a broiler chicken grows. Maybe that's... But we should have long-term plans. You see, long-term projections, and we have to work one step at a time. It is very, very possible.
You're very provoking always. The problem, I think, with many young people is the understanding of agriculture.
Yeah.
So when we say this one is a farmer, or this one has does farming for a business or for work, the understanding is very shallow.
Yeah, very much.
What opportunities do you think, apart from you being called a farmer, what other opportunities does your farming give to young people? Do you have accountants? Do you have drivers? Do you have what opportunities do you provide as a farmer? So then we can have this understanding. So when we are looking at you as a farmer, who else is behind you? Where else is working with you? What opportunities have you created? So then young people can say, I want to become an accountant for a farmer. You know what I'm saying? So what opportunities do you think farming, like in your case, what opportunities do you produce or do you provide?
Okay. So if there's one thing that we are doing, there's something that I wanted to say, but I'll see if I remember. So when you talk about farming, I would say, yeah, okay, it does come. Before I say what opportunities we are creating, I would say one of the reasons why many youths don't get into farming is because they lack role models. So we don't have role models in agriculture that can inspire young farmers to to join farming. It's just then that now we have a few role models that are actually inspiring other young farmers to become professionals, to become farmers. So the picture that we have about a farmer is the poor old man in the village. That has been the picture always. And the media, I think, has to change the way it actually presents farmers, because I think the way farming has been pictured it's a no-go area for the youths, because there's nothing. Because even me, when I made the decision that I'm going to the farm, the people, even my parents, say, no, you're going to suffer. My neighbors, my workmates are saying, no, there's nothing good in farming. There's no one who has made in farming. And when I was posting things on Facebook about farming, the people that have been in farming for a long period of time, we say, my friend, you're going nowhere. I said, no, that is you. That is your vision. As in, for me, I'm going somewhere. So if you failed to go somewhere, I'll show you that actually you can get somewhere with farming. And today, the people that have been laughing at me, they're very shocked. And some of them, they're supportive. Some of them have repented. When you talk about the opportunities that we are creating, number one, we've created employment. Like the manager that is managing this farm is actually a degree holder from UNZA. The person who is in charge of customer care is someone who is actually who is studying right now. She's studying business administration. Then we are bringing in a new degree holder who is an accountant. He was studying in India. So we are creating employment both for skilled and unskilled man. So you find that we are not only creating opportunities, we are creating also employment. Then I'm looking forward to build a very big industry where we're going to hire the pharmacists, the people who do pharma, so that they can come and start helping us understand the medicinal properties of herbs. I had a meeting recently with Daniel Kavan, who is a pharmacist, and the way he was explaining about plants, he was getting into details. You know, we learned this in class, we learned this and all those things. So all those people, they are going to have a platform where they can operate from. We need lab scientists. We need people that are going to be doing crop inspection. So we are going to create employment, and we need innovators. Like there's one man that I work with, he's a very good fabricator. When I want to do something, I call him to come and fabricate something. When I was making an essential oil machine, I had to call a fabricator to come and do the work for me. Then there are certain kind of innovations that we want to do, and I would want to get sharp young men from UNZA who are doing nothing, but they've got the brains. We give them a task to do, they come and accomplish it. So we are not just going to be talking about farming. There are people that are going to be doing the manual labor. They are unskilled guys. We train them to do this work, but there are certain expertise that we need to accomplish what we want as Organic Farm 7. And I can see that Organic Farm 7 is growing, and we're going to involve quite a lot of people that are going to have a platform where to work. Then the way I see farming, I don't see farming the way people see it. I just see it as a platform where you can actually explore opportunities.
We have Ngenda Mfire is saying, interesting. But the armyworms are attacking everyone, not only a farmer. What do you think is a solution to armyworms? Like we've heard armyworms every farming season. What do you think could be the organic solution to this problem?
Okay, like armyworms is just something that I've seen on the internet. I've never had that problem before because of the techniques that we use. Number one, what causes armyworms is the issue of monocropping, like growing one crop in the same field, and also the use of weed killers, whereby all the weeds which these pests depend on are wiped out. So the only crop that is remaining is the issue of what is this? It's only corn. So what you do, if you can do intercropping, biodiversity, you plant millet, you mix with maize, you mix with misale, the sugarcane, the traditional one, you put in ponda, you put chihuahua. These things, there's a way they maintain a field so that it is free from certain types of actually pests. So in most cases, pests attack our crops because they have been weakened. We have destroyed the natural habitat. And one fun thing you'd be very shocked to know is that why is it that pests only attack where mankind is growing food? You won't find them attacking plants in the bush. They only attack where we are doing something. So immediately you apply chemicals, you destroy the natural habitation. You know, there are predators and also preys. You destroy the predators which are supposed to control the pests. Like those animals can be eaten by birds. They can be eaten by lizards and all different creatures. But immediately you destroy the natural habitation of nature. Pests have got a way of actually growing fast. But in case you have them, you can actually have a plant of neem, which you can actually extract pests. You can make a pesticide which can take care of the armyworms. Then also planting the right seed. I did an experiment. I planted the hybrid seeds. I also planted the organic seeds. Armyworms were attacking the hybrid seed because the immune system of that plant is not stronger compared to the natural one. So they were only attacking like pests, just like in nature. If you look at the lions, they mostly attack the weakest animals. It's a very thing even in crops. Pests, in most cases, they only attack weaker plants. So when your soil is not healthy, it is going to be growing plants that are not healthy, which are attractive to pests, and also crops that are actually very easily destroyed by pests. Did you know that a healthy plant can actually produce the sap that can destroy any pest that attacks it? So the key thing is working on the soil using organic methods, like you apply manure, you plant cover crops like velvet beans, you plant sun hemp, cowpeas. These, they build the soil so that it can be able to defend itself on its own. And also biodiversity, there's a way it confuses the pests.
This one is coming from Teresa Inonge Makondo. She says, "Hi, I kept losing internet. This has changed my perspective on farming. I am an emergent farmer and very passionate about doing it organically. It's good to have such an enthusiastic young man, but I'm told yield is very low when you grow things organically. Is this true?"
Never. It has never been true. So it has never been true. I've grown things organically. You know, like my case, I would say was different because when I got into organic farming, I didn't know everything. But I would say like Africa and Zambia especially is fortunate because you have someone that has gone through and I know exactly what to do. So the yield, actually, they're even far much better than those in organic, in conventional farming. Here's how you calculate the yield. Let's say, for example, you spent 10,000 to make 20,000. You see? So you spend a lot of money on inputs, and you find that if you calculate the profit margins, they are very low. Then I don't use those inputs. Then I produce 15 bags. People say you have gotten low. No, I haven't gotten low, because if you look at the profit margins, I'm making more profit than you. So many farmers don't do mathematics. They just grow and they don't calculate. Like I was doing a calculation, there's one of my neighbors is growing maize. You find that what he puts in is more than what he gets out. So you have to do mathematics, right? You see, how much do you put in and how much do you get out? So it is very possible you can be having more yield, but at a very, very high expense. You find that at the end of the day, you're getting nothing. And this is what has been happening for ages in farming. People, they are growing things, but they're getting nothing. But it's very possible to have low yield, but with actually a higher profit margin. Like as in for me, I don't even grow maize. The cost of producing maize, I just grow maize for eating if I want to. But otherwise, I can grow a certain crop. I grow it organically. Maybe just a few portion, I'll be able to buy 10 bags of maize, which I can actually eat the whole year round. So if I want to eat organically, I know where to get my food. I grow my food then, but I cannot grow maize for business because it is very hard to make profit in maize, looking at the value chain and all those things.
Karuisha Mulambia comes back and says, wow, it's funny and hating to learn that even agricultural students are encouraged to study and work for companies. I thought otherwise. Teresa again comes back and says, this is what we lack in our academic schedule. We as students of agriculture are taught and encouraged to work for companies. We need this boost in the school curriculum that encourages us to say we are graduating to be employers. Let me see if I can get another comment, then we can. So there is a question. This is coming from Joe Kavea. How long have you been doing farming?
Okay. So I've been doing farming for the past 5 years. The first 3 years, it was from the backyard. Then the last 2 years, it was full-time farming. That's when I even quit my job. I'm going into my 3rd year. So from the backyard, from my small backyard, I was able to learn most of the things about farming. I researched, I went, I consulted, so that when I started farming, I wasn't going to start it ignorantly. So that is what actually, that has been my experience. And I hate ignorant farming. You have to farm with knowledge. No, and even like right now, I'm conducting a mentorship program. Like if you check on my page, where I'm helping farmers. You see, many farmers, they are passionate. They've got the enthusiasm. They are determined. But you find that if you lack knowledge, you're going to be hit with losses. So you have to get into farming with knowledge. And that is one thing that I understood before I started farming. I was practicing it on small scale, and then grew from there. And right now, I've been doing that for, I'll be turning 5 years very soon. Okay, it seems okay. He must.
Sorry. So I disconnected my modem my Wi-Fi a long time ago. So I think it ran out of power. Battery drained. Okay. So we're about to respond to that question.
Yeah, actually, I responded. You just maybe get disconnected. So I was saying that I've been doing farming for the past 5 years. Yeah, 3 years it was from the backyard and the front yard. Then 2 years it has been in full-time farming. Like right now I'm at the farm. I moved to the farm. That thing we do of distance farming, to me, it doesn't work. So you have to be there because you would find that when you are there, mistakes can be made. What about when you're not there? So things don't move the way you want them to move. So like, because I've been there 6 days a week, I work 6 days a week. What I've been able to do in 2 years will take others 30 years. Because if you put together the days that you've gone to the farm on weekends and all those things, to me, I can do that in a week. Because, and even the hours that I put in, like right now, most of the times I work even up to 22, depending on what I'm doing. But I actually just do my best to work extremely very hard. So, and I've been able to do more in 2 years than what others have been able to do in 30 years, and they'll never do in 30 years because of the determination and the commitment that I have to this cause. You know, I didn't leave formal employment to come and play games in the farming platform. I came here for serious business. So, and I mean business, and I'll just make sure that I do my best.
Okay, so I have a few questions that I would like you to respond to before we say bye to our viewers. So this one is coming from, I want to start from this one. Ciseho says, maize farming is killing most farmers. Most times, cost of production is higher than what they get. I think that's what you had spoken to.
Yeah.
This one is Prince Primbo says, no, we need to be innovative in our thinking. Agribusiness is the future.
And the future is now.
Yes. Gabriel C. Mutima says, how many hectares are you doing this year and crops have planted? This one is coming from Omri. Omri says, Radical Farmer, continue. Pilato, thanks for this educating chats. I'm loving it. This one is coming from Ricky. Ricky says, thanks, Pilato, for bringing this man. This is a way to go for young men. Let's go into farming than calling on the bomber. Yes, so there are more, but I want to read them out so then you can respond to them as you say your goodbyes. Maize farming can make you make profit if you do green maize alongside with tomato, cabbage, and watermelon. Okay. This one is coming from Daniel Kabani. Says, keep up the great work. Kindly emphasize on the work ethics. Okay. This one is coming from Jolwe Masopo. Says, due to large-scale use of synthetic products in farming, organically grown products may be grown on lands which still contain a large amount of synthetic chemicals in the soil. This defeats the true purpose of organic farming because chemicals have been used before, especially inland, that's been used before by other farmers. Then how can you properly do organic farming in pre-owned land, non-virgin land? That's very interesting. Probably I'll let you respond especially to this particular question. Then you can also respond to many other stuff. But I would like to hear what you think about that particular question.
Okay. So number one, on the issue of the land that has been owned, then it contains some residues of chemicals. So there are two ways. One thing the simplest way I can answer this one is that in Zambia, there's a lot of virgin land. So there's a lot of virgin land in Zambia. I've traveled most parts of Zambia. There's a lot of virgin land. Then if you only have the piece of land that has been used with chemicals, organic farming contains all the solutions. So number one, the soil that contains residues, you can actually grow sun hemp. It helps in stabilizing the pH. Then there are crops which are scavengers, of which one of them is carrots. When you grow carrots, it has the capacity to get every toxin, every bad thing that is in the soil, then stock that, then you can actually throw that away. You can use that to clean your soil. Then you can plant plants like velvet beans, which are actually very good for building the soil, because it's all about bringing back life to the soil. When you bring life back to the soil, you'd find that actually your soil is going to be very, very good. Then on the other side, you see, the first thing that you have to do in organic farming before you do anything, you have to make sure that the soil is in good state. And that can be done through cover crops. There's buckwheat, there's sun hemp, there's velvet beans, there's cowpeas, there's sunflower. Then when you grow these, you are not growing them to harvest them. You grow them to build the soil. So you let them grow upon the point of they're about to start flowering, you actually chop them. Then that organic matter gets back into the soil. Then there are microorganisms that are going to come. There are worms and other living organisms, and they're going to purify that soil and clean it. So it's very simple, just simple as that. Then it's very true that there are pesticides and all those things which actually have been working on the soil, but there's always a way to work on that. There's actually no soil that is beyond repair. Any kind of soil that can be worked on and built.
Okay, this one says, Kenneth Musaku says, I took time to study a lot about agriculture last year. I realized how pathetic we have been practicing agriculture. So I think we've run out of time. What I would like to hear from you as you respond to most of these comments and questions and praise, I would like you to say, share your concluding remarks so we can say bye to our viewers and say good night.
Okay, so like most of these other comments that I've seen, like people, they know what is happening on the ground. So it may take time to change the curriculum. It may take time to change many things. One thing that I know is very hard to change is the system. But the easiest thing that to do is you have to change yourself. So yeah, if you have seen that something doesn't work out for you, and if you can't change it, you change yourself and help someone change also. So there will never be a time where everything changes and they be the way we want them to be. But the best thing that you can do is in your capacity, change what you can, like I did. I changed what I changed, and also I question philosophies, and I come up with my own philosophies. So let us come up with solutions that are really going to help us out, and we would see that things are actually going to work out. Then, you know, as youths, let us not look at agriculture the way people look at it. Let us have our own vision. Let us look at it with an open eye, with an understanding eye, and with a working brain, a thinking brain that actually is going to see things the way they are. So we can learn a lot from the Western people, because most of the times when they come in our countries, they don't settle in towns, they settle in the city, in the farms. Then work from there, and they sell us chips, and we buy them at an expensive price, and all the drinks and all those things. And we have to get to the point whereby we start being part of the solution and not only part of the problem. Like I think I'm a great example. Like in the farm, there's good power. Like right now, I'm powering the laptops, the modem, and there's light here. This is off grid. There's water. We drink the freshest water, not the water with chlorine that you drink. As we drink straight from the borehole, there's fresh air here. There's happiness. There's no noise. There's joy. So it is all a different setup than what actually you think. You think about. You drink water from Kafue River, but as we drink straight from the borehole and touched and contaminated, no need of purifying it because it is already pure. So there's better life here than you actually think. Just give it a try.
Thank you very, 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 very much. I would ask you to say one more last thing, especially about taking care of the environment, as we are constantly reminded of the storm called Anna. I like what you said about that it's a reaction to human activity. I would like you to say that thing again. I want you to tell us about the environment reacting to our actions. As you say, bye finally.
Okay, so if we, the people that love our country, Zambia, get into agriculture and we actually care for agriculture, you'd see that the practices that we're going to be using are going to be very good for us. But if we allow people that just want to make money for a shorter period of time come and pollute our land and not care for it because they just want to make money and get back to their countries, we'll have no one to blame. So the environmental devastation that we are facing, I can with assurance, because I'm in agriculture, I can with assurance tell you that agriculture is greatly contributing. And it needs you to come on board and come and correct what has been actually, nature is very forgiving. When we come on board and do the right thing, nature is going to actually forgive us, and things are going to get right. So the practices, the use of herbicides, the use of chemicals, the use of fertilizers, all these fast, quick things, they have got hazards that they do to the environment. Because when you put a chemical in the soil, it is destroying everything, life in the soil, life in the plant, and eventually it's going to destroy you. And also nature is warning us that we have to change the way we do things. we shouldn't be part of the people that are contaminating the environment. Like, for example, Organic Farm 7 is a heavy carbon sink because of the practices that we do. We don't emit carbon, but we store it, and eventually carbon becomes the fuel for our farming activities. So let us get on board and let everyone be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much, and have a good night too.